What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? So I am currently working on one of the largest Tesla projects, or Tesla Cybertruck projects that I have ever done. This project is making a Cybertruck Rolls-Royce level of quietness. This is actually something I've always wanted to do. I'm so obsessed with sounds, noises. I hear every single thing when it comes to the inside of a vehicle, and I love taking Teslas apart, especially the Cybertruck. I've already studied the service manual a million times. I know every clip, every bolt, how to take everything apart without breaking any clips. So I am just so excited for this project. We are already started. This is part one. I think I'm gonna do like separate like videos and parts so I can kind of really get everything detailed for you guys instead of just one big massive video. I wanted to go over with you guys today what I'm gonna be doing, the like game plan, and kind of just show you an example of some of the areas that I'm gonna be focusing on. I just wanna also say the Cybertruck is already very quiet. It's already very, very quiet. Probably one of the most quiet Teslas. There are a few things that can stick out on the Cybertruck. Sometimes there's a few rattles here and there. Sometimes the seat will make contact with the center console, cause a little squeak. There's also sometimes if you move back in your seat like this, you'll hear a little creak back there. I know how to fix that. Sometimes the center console will have a creak on it. I know how to fix that. I already did it on my Cybertruck. And then also a huge one, the doors rattle and stuff. We're gonna fix that. That's on the outside of the truck. And then there's a ton of plastic on the inside of the truck that I'm gonna be addressing and fixing. Because there's a lot of, if you go over like a bump or a hump, you'll hear like creak up in the headliner and stuff. Most of the panels, like if you push on the door on the Cybertruck, like the leather on the inside, everything's super solid, super great. If you push on the dash, it's pretty solid. If you push on the center console, it's usually pretty solid. There's lots of things that are really solid about the Cybertruck, but there's just a few little things here and there that need to be narrowed out. I'm also going to be addressing the HVAC. I do feel like it's pretty loud. A lot of that HVAC noise gets into the cabin, so I really want to try to quiet that down. And then I'm also going to be adding sound insulation spray to the wheel wells of the truck. So we're gonna take those wheel well liners out and spray basically the casting of like the wheel liner or the wheel area of the casting. And I'm also gonna put some foam and stuff in there as well, because that's what you really want to do to limit a lot of that road noise. I'm also going to be doing a lot of sound insulation around the rear bed compartment. I'm gonna open up the rear bed, put a lot of sound insulation on that wall, the bed wall, to stop any noise from coming in from the air compressor or the rear wheels or the rear motor and stuff like that. And I'm also going to do some sound insulation on the inside as well of that rear wall, because this customer actually said sometimes the compressor will kick on and he finds that sound a little bit annoying when he hears it. Yeah, there's just so many things, guys. There are so many things that I'm trying to address. No time limit, no like money limit. It's just get this thing as quiet and as perfect as possible. And we're also going to be doing a few modifications to it. We're going to be installing the rear view mirror from Hancho, the 2.0 version, a swivel screen. We're also going to be installing the Model Y Juniper seats. So I have a brand new set of Model Y Juniper seats I'm going to put in this Cybertruck. He doesn't really like the Cybertruck seats. He feels like they're not really soft enough like the Juniper seats. So that's what we're going to be doing with that. Now, let me go ahead and show you guys what point we're at right now. And if you guys want to follow along with this, I didn't really show how to like take a lot of this apart. Because Tesla has an amazing service manual, and honestly, they show way more detail than I would. But This is right here. This is the dash pad. So this is the leather dash pad. As you can see, Tesla already does some good sound insulation here. Most likely adding much more here won't really do too much. I will add a little bit, but there's a fine line between right and wrong. There's a fine line between adding enough to where it's going to help and adding too much to where it's not really doing anything. So like when it comes to this panel right here, this panel goes back up there on the inside. There's not really too much space to add much in here. You know, I'm gonna try to fill in some of these gaps, add a few spots here and there, and then actually add some on the metal itself in there. But some of these panels, Tesla already did a great job. I mean, the Cybertruck really does have a lot of sound deadening already. But if you go ahead and take a look at this piece here, so this is the other side of the passenger side of the dash. We could use some more sound deadening around here. Don't want to get it in the way of the airbag deployment or anything like that. You know, there could be some felt tape put in some locations here, felt tape around clips, stuff like that, felt tape around stuff like this. Because if you guys have ever removed parts from a really nice car, like I know you guys might not think of the Nissan GTR as like a luxury car, but I've actually fully removed the interior of a Nissan GTR, a newer one, and it's built on the Lexus assembly line, and every single plastic component that comes in contact with the metal or comes in contact with plastic on plastic, it's all covered in felt tape. That is one thing that the Cybertruck and most Teslas are missing, right? Like this here, all of this that comes in contact with the metal on the truck, those type of things, that's a possibility for creaks and rattles. So we're definitely going to be putting felt tape on all of those pieces. Here we have some of the headliner. This is the cant rail headliner section. So this piece doesn't actually have any foam on it at all. So we're going to be adding a little bit of foam there. We want to be careful about areas with airbags and stuff like that. Make sure everything is still like in compliance with safety and stuff like that. You know, you want to be careful. You don't want tons of foam blocking where the airbag would deploy. So you just want to be careful and mindful about some of those things. Now, this piece, this is the headliner piece right above your head when you're driving the truck. This piece definitely could use some more sound insulation there. That piece will absorb a lot of that road wind noise above your head. And this piece, guys, this is a piece that I'm really excited to add a lot of sound deadening to. So this is that big leather cover, like under your knees, under the screen. There's a lot of space for more sound deadening there. So I'm super excited about that. There's a really loud kind of squeak in the Cybertruck with the headliner, and this is where it stems from. So let me show you guys. So you know this piece right here. So take a look at this piece. So this is the B-pillar with the seatbelt, and up here, this is just a lot of glossy plastic, and the other piece that comes on top of this is glossy plastic on plastic. So this, when you push on this, it's just so creaky. So this is all going to be covered in felt tape. Both pieces will be covered in felt tape to really lower any of those rattles. And then another thing is on the inside here. So this is as far as I'm going to go when it comes to taking apart this area. I could pull up this defrost panel, but when you actually take a look, Tesla has a lot of sound deadening material that they've already put there. There is a little bit more room for some, so I will put a few pieces in there. But I don't think it's worth it to remove. There's like maybe 80 clips to remove this piece, and I just don't think it's worth it to remove it for the amount of issues that could come upon removing it. That piece I think should just stay in. So I'm going to be leaving that piece in. But there is a ton of space here for sound deadening material. If you see these, all of these vents, these need some sound deadening material around them to reduce the HVAC vibrations, the noise. And then you've got part of the HVAC blower here. So that I'm going to put a lot of some of my best sound absorbing material around that. And then there's a lot of room and just gaping holes in here that could really use some sound deadening material. And I'm also going to put some up here as well behind this piece that was there. That will help reduce some of that wind noise when it hits up here. And then this piece right here is a huge issue as well. On the Cybertruck, this piece is always so freaking rattly. So what I'm gonna do with this, basically, the tolerance with these pieces are so tiny, like these gaps and everything where it clips in, and the tolerance here, that I can't, like, let's say wrap this in leather, wrap it in suede to fix these rattles. And putting just felt tape here I've done like on my truck, but I don't think it looks good enough for a customer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these plastic covers off, and I'm going to do what's called flocking. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of flocking, but basically what it is like if you feel inside of your Model 3Y Plaid and Model SX center console, it'll feel soft and velvety, or inside your glove box. That is flocking. So it's like that synthetic suede, basically. So that's what I'm going to do on this to get rid of these terrible rattles. Because this thing, I don't know why it's so bad on the Cybertruck, but it's so bad. So I got to fix that. That's a huge thing to fix. Something that I've been struggling with is trying to decide what to do under the carpet. Now, when it comes to under the carpet, the Cybertruck, like, battery, this is already, like, you don't need any type of stuff under here. Honestly, it is, in my opinion, anywhere where the battery is, it's already so sound insulated from that battery. And then you got the carpet and the foam. You really don't need anything there. I might add a little bit of some thin foam, but it's already so quiet and so solid because the battery is just so big, so heavy. So in my opinion, where most of that noise is coming from is going to be these areas here. You know, most of this stuff, air that comes in some of these where wires pass through, and areas like this up here needs a little bit of foam and felt tape, and around here needs a lot. And really a lot of it is going to be, my focus is up here in these corners, stuff like that. Also under here is this plastic vent right here, and I feel like sometimes this can rub on this plastic and cause some rattles and creaks. So I think I'm gonna pick that up and then put like some felt tape or something on that, or maybe a little bit of thin foam. And then in terms of the seat risers, so these are the seat risers. Sometimes you'll hear some seat creaks and stuff like that. So I will put some felt tape where those seats sit, as well as where the center console bolts to and sits, because sometimes you can get some rattles and creaks from that as well. Other than that, for the interior, we're also going to be doing the door panels. That's going to be, I'm going to leave that kind of after as kind of my exterior mod, because I want to focus on the interior, get the interior done. then I'll work my way out. But we're going to be fixing these doors. His doors are not that bad, but they're super hollow sounding, and they can definitely use some sound insulation in there like I did to mine as well. Another thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding some seals on the outside of the doors, so no air or anything gets inside the Cybertruck doors, because that's a big thing, because when you close the doors, there's like basically a big gaping hole for air. He already did put some of these on here from a company, but these aren't doing anything, in my opinion. They don't seal up with this, so that's not really helping. These ones here are not one that I would recommend. And as we go on, I'm gonna probably take these babies out, I think. I'm not sure yet. I don't know. I'm really contemplating if I should take these out or not. Because I kind of feel like, I don't know, it might not be worth it, depending on, because I'm going to be adding a lot of sound deadening on the other side of this wall, and there's already an NVH pad on this side of the wall. But I do want to take these off, because there's actually a lot of squeaks and stuff that comes from under this panel here. So I do want to take this off and do a little bit there. So I don't know. I just want to make sure I weigh my options, you know, correctly, and make sure that I'm not doing something that is a lot of work, but with very little benefit. And then there's also a lot of empty space under here. So we're going to add a lot of sound deadening under there as well. But yeah, there's just a lot of things to focus on, guys. I'll keep you updated as the process goes on. But yeah, this is just part one, kind of going over what the plan is. I've got a lot of special sound deadening material in here. This is 3M Thinsulate, really, really awesome sound deadening material. And I've got, this is my really, really amazing stuff. So this is from Second Skin, and this stuff here is called SoundZorb Pro, I believe was the name. This stuff's amazing. If you put this over your head, you can't hear anything. It's wild. So I don't have too much of this, and it was very, very expensive. So I'm going to be putting small pieces of this where I think it will be most beneficial. So most of this will be going in the interior, because I don't really want this to get wet or stuff all the time. But this stuff is going to be on those really those points where I really, you know, want to focus on the most important. But anyways, we also have got some foam here, some closed cell foam, got some more closed cell foam, got the Second Skin, this is the Spectrum noise and vibration coating, so that's going to be sprayed on some of the exterior panels underneath those plastic wheel wells. Those will be sprayed under there. And we've got some more like Dynamat type rubber butyl tape. And I've also got just so much, guys. So much. I'm so excited. This thing's going to be so quiet. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Part one. I'm going to finally start laying some of this stuff down and getting to work, because I am super excited. Let's get to laying some material down, and in part two, you guys will see that. So thanks, guys, for watching, and if you guys want this done to your Cybertruck, let me know. I will be showing like decibel ratings, before and after sounds and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace out.